He's leaving. Thank you.
Thanks. I think so. Okay. Very. Should have gotten a little late. Everybody is just like the idea of family is so prevalent. That is the community we have to build.
The banner's handy. It's not as handy.
All right. Hammer for you. I got it. You got it.
Hi, very nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
I was curious about your experience at City Hall, trying to meet the mayor, how that went, and how the conversation you had with Black Lives Matter and how your platform dovetails into theirs.
Yes, it was very inspiring to meet with the Black Lives Matter community that is living in, sitting in, occupying outside of City Hall, saying that it's time to really speak to the families of the victims, and it's time to stop the killing. 3 18-year-olds just in the last month alone who've been basically killed at the hands of police. And the LA Police Department holds the record right now for the most number of murder victims at the hands of police, yet you have the department that has said that every one of these deaths is so-called within policy, that the policy permits these deaths, which is just a horrific thing to say. I also learned that 50% of LA's municipal budget is being spent on this occupying police force, when spending that money instead, a portion of that money, on prevention, on recreation, on after-school programs, on enrichment programs, on youth development, would prevent this problem from growing out of hand in the first place. An ounce of prevention is worth, a pound of cure, but in this case it would be worth lives that are being lost just without cause and without justification. And it was very sad to go up there and find that once again the mayor was missing in action. As I understand, he's been missing in action for the last, 50 days now, 51 days, that he's really not come down to speak with the families, to address their concerns. And I very, very much stand in support of this community that's saying enough is enough. They need a new beginning. They need a clean sweep with a new chief of police.
And I'm with a community access station, and obviously new media, social media, and old community public stations like ours, you have a lot of support in that world. How do you see media affecting your campaign, and is it different than your last campaign? And what do you see as a future for community voices in this world we live in with where mass media is under corporate control and consolidation?
Absolutely. I think in this race we're seeing Donald Trump was created by the media. You had the president of one of the media conglomerates saying that, well, he may not be good for America, but he sure is good for our bottom line. That really kind of summarizes it, that the media has become sort of the arbiter of our elections. Since when do our elections belong to the big corporate media that's given $4 billion worth of free advertising for Donald Trump, $2 billion worth of free advertising for Hillary Clinton, and the American people are off the charts with their distrust and their dislike of these candidates. It's outrageous that corporatized media has caused this disaster of an election. And my hope, is that we will come out of this election as a very strong movement, whether we are in the White House or whether we are sitting in the White House or sitting in outside of the White House, that we're going to break up these media conglomerates and that we're going to start using antitrust laws so that we can restore real media. I think real media is now in the hands of independent media, and I can't tell you what a breath of fresh air it is to be talking to independent media that's actually thinking about what's going on, that really knows the score, that really understands what the real issues are. The issues are not, Hillary and Donald having a contest over who is the bigger crook, who is the greater corporate tool, who's the bigger racist. This is so outrageous that we have this concocted news cycle right now that has nothing to do with what the American people are actually struggling with. So I say, kudos to you, hats off to you, independent media. Keep up your work. And we are getting stronger as a social movement. I mean, just look who turned out here with just a couple hours worth of notice. We are a very powerful movement. We are unstoppable, and free and independent press is absolutely critical to our future. Thank you for all you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. And people are fired up about the Green New Deal. How can voices like ours best express that and push it forward for you and your campaign?
I think right now the most important thing is to open the floodgates for democracy and ensure that we have open and inclusive debates. And I encourage people to participate in our open debates campaigns right now. We have something like, how many did I hear? 90,000? How many people are signed on to our petition? 90,000 people are now signed on to our petition for open debates. We hope to increase that exponentially and then go deliver it to this fraud of a commission on presidential debates and give them a sign of what's to come. The American people are not going to go quietly into this dark night and allow our democracy to be suppressed at a time when we are facing all-out crisis on the climate, on the war, on student debt, on nuclear weapons, you name it. This is not an election that we're just going to sit back and be dictated to when black lives are on the firing line, when there's a crisis of immigration. We need to stand up now, and we need to be able to have an inclusive, healing, truthful, democratic conversation to talk about what are the real issues and how we can fix them. We need to take back this power, this promise of our democracy, and opening the debates is a really critical way to begin.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time, Dr.
Thank you so
really
much.
Appreciate
It was great talking with you. Thank you so much.
Dr. Stein,
Yes.
if I just may, I'm Dave with Project Sanity.
Yes.
And we've been following you around in Philadelphia, and along with these, talking about the real issues, we're doing a digital dialogue and a debate with Evergreen State College in Washington, and one of the issues that's really on their mind is homelessness. It's very bad in Seattle, possibly the worst it is in the country. And Los Angeles, we have the same problem. Here we are on the West Coast, progressive states, progressive cities. How can we address the homelessness issue? What can you do as President of the United States to address homelessness?
Well, there's so much that we can do. It's outrageous that we have more empty homes than we have homeless people. So, there are so many things that we can do. For number one, we can put communities in charge of housing rather than putting developers in charge of our housing, so that housing is being built to meet human needs, not for maximum profit. So we stop gentrification, which is putting lots of people out of our homes. We maintain public housing. Right now there's a war on public housing, and it's being privatized, and it's being refurbished, privatized, and the price is going up. So lots of people who are very dependent on low-cost housing are being really thrown out right now. So we need to expand public housing again. We need to stabilize rents and allow communities to have rent control so that the price of housing isn't rising. It's not rocket science how to fix this. The problem is that the predators are running the show here. And, the bottom line line is we need to vote them out of office. Those who are collaborating with the big money that's setting predatory housing policy, predatory healthcare policy, with the cost of an EpiPen now costing $400 when it contains $1 worth of ingredients. You know, this is not a future that's survivable. And what we see happening here is that we in the social movements are beginning to get together and to say that we have the power here, that when we get together across the spectrum of the issues of justice, that we are an unstoppable force and we are going to take back our democracy.
Very good. Obviously, we're a ragtag group of citizen journalists putting this together on Project Sanity, and we are doing this digital dialogue, and we hope an open digital debate. Would you be willing to do a type of digital debate with Governor Gary Johnson and anyone else that's qualified under the League of Women Voters rules? Would you do a digital debate with an open debate with Gary Johnson and others?
You know, it sounds like something I would love to do. The devil's always in the details of the scheduling, but in principle, I think the idea of a digital debate is fabulous. And yes, if the candidates who are actually on the ballot and for enough voters that they could win the election are in this debate, this is exactly the debate that we need to have in as many formats as possible. You know, the Republicans had a gazillion debates, you know, and the Democrats did in 2012 as well. The American people desperately need real information now about what their choices are because they have rejected the two choices that they are being force-fed. So let's let them hear about what their real choices are.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Voted for you in 2012 also.
All right.
Such a regulator of the media.
Such a regulator of the media. People are waiting. Thanks, Mel. Pleasure to meet you. I'm Dave.
Oh, so you did it. That's awesome. Wonderful.
And we'll stay in touch.
We're going to next week.
North Dakota. Oh, we could probably find somebody out there.
We're going to the San
Yeah, we're going to be on Project Sanity tomorrow. We have someone there that's going to be broadcasting live.
Have them get in touch
Yes,
with me.
absolutely.
So we'll be there. We'll be arriving Monday night.
Great.
We'll be all day Tuesday, and we're leaving Wednesday morning.
Fantastic. We'll hook them up.
Let's do it.
That's great. Excellent, Mel. Fantastic. All right, so that was.
If cell phone service is still running up there.
I will check into it. I'll
Okay,
double
yeah,
check.
that's what we're trying to
We'll
figure
find out tomorrow because he's been doing a live report from there, so we'll know. I'll let you know.
Oh, great.
Tune in tomorrow, projectsanity.org, 4 o'clock Pacific. All right, guys. Well, we got it. A couple minutes with Dr. Stein here at Bernie's. Currently tonight is Java Jill's. Java Jill's here in Los Angeles. I hope you folks caught that. I hope I recorded it. I think I did.
You broadcasted it.
I broadcasted it. That was Dr. Jill Stein. We had a couple of minutes with her. I asked her about if she's interested in a digital debate, what we're doing up there at Evergreen, or trying to. And I kind of cornered Mel. So we're in like Flynn, I think, guys. I hope when we're going to do this.
Would you like to speak with the candidate running against Eric Garcetti
Sure.
this spring?
Absolutely.
He's running for mayor of Los Angeles.
Fantastic. We interviewed one of those folks at the event.
And he works on Project Sanity also. All of you do.
How are you? What's your name?
Montgomery Markland.
Monty.
Monty.
Yeah, or Montgomery.
Pleasure to meet you,
Monty's
Montgomery.
easier. Yeah.
So, as Chilla said, we are grassroots media, grassroots digital media, Project Sanity, Our Revolution TV, keeping the Bernie thing going, the progressive values that Jill Stein represents. And you're here tonight. Are you a supporter of Jill Stein? I understand you're running for mayor.
I am running for mayor in 2017 against Eric Garcetti, and I am voting for Jill Stein this fall.
And what makes you think you can take on Gil Garcetti?
Well, I think Eric is a
Eric, sorry.
okay. I think that Eric is a nice man with good ideas, and I think he was a fine city councilman, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. But being the chief executive of one of the largest cities in the world requires a certain level of executive decision-making capacity. And I think he lacks that, and I think that is causing the city to slowly slide into decay and decline. And throughout the course of the Bernie campaign, I've met a lot of people that agree.
Now, I asked Dr. Stein about our homeless problem. We're doing a digital dialogue up in Seattle, in the Olympia area, up in Washington, and LA, of course. And here we are on the West Coast, progressive cities, Seattle, Los Angeles, and we can't seem to get a handle on it. Utah has figured it out by making housing first. How can you solve this homeless crisis?
Well, there's one thing that I think some people don't know that does exacerbate the problem a little bit and make it a little more challenging to deal with, which is there are some cities that solve their homeless problem by handing a bus ticket to Los Angeles to the individual who has no home. So that certainly is not helpful. But let's take that aside and say we're just going to deal with the problem as it stands. I think you divide it up into three areas. All right, I think there's three different kinds of homelessness. There's homelessness that is associated with mental health. Ronald Reagan dismantled the mental health facilities in California in the late 60s. We need to rebuild them. We can rebuild them at the city level. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no rule that says we can't, right? And if that's just the only place they're rebuilt to begin with, and then everybody says that's a great idea, well, that's fine. So we rebuild our mental health facilities at the city level. That's going to take care of a significant portion of the homeless problem because it's a mental health problem, not a I don't have a house problem. And then there's the homeless problem where people have slipped through the cracks of the social safety net, right? Just regular guy, doesn't have a job for too long, runs out of unemployment, runs out of time from his landlord, right? Everybody, so many people are paid check to paycheck and, relying on, the kindness of their landlord perhaps or something. And so that group of people that is homeless is the most, I think, readily addressed through simplistic solutions, right? What do they need? They need temporary housing, right? They need help with a suit. They need help getting their skills up to speed, right? Simple things that will get them going again because they were already going once, and the only thing that happened was the road ran out essentially.
That's actually one of the issues. That's one of the solutions they're trying to work on in Seattle.
Yeah. And I think that'll take care. Like this is all kind of like broad brush strokes, but 1/3 of it is the mental health issue and taking care of the mental health issue at the city level. If nobody else is going to do it, let's do it. Let's build mental health facilities and take care of people that are mentally ill in the city. There's no reason for mentally ill people to be living on the streets. It's absurd. It's not even not good policy.
Well, where do you find the funding for that?
Well, I think that we would be surprised at how little it would cost to do it, number one. And number two, I think it actually would be a net gain over time. You'd have to talk to an economic, individual, somebody who is, ingrained in the economics of the city. But I think if we address those first two parts of the homeless problem, you reach a tipping point where now you're dealing with such a smaller problem. And the idea that putting someone in a mental health facility or some kind of transitional living if they don't have mental health problems but just homeless problems, the idea that would be more expensive than the police call that gets serviced by everybody, all three unions, right, bring them, take them over to county, and they get sit in county for a little while, and then they get kicked back right out into the same cycle. And some of these guys, they want to be in county. And
well, there is that element.
So
that don't want to be in the system. They don't. They don't want to play the rules.
Right. So I think that people are being disingenuous when they say that the smart solutions would somehow cost more than the arbitrary and ad hoc solution that we have. It's a similar issue to single-payer health care, actually. We have single-payer health care. People just don't know it, right? You can't get turned down at a Tier 4 trauma center, right? That's where you go if you don't have health insurance.
I've seen video of people dying in the lobby.
Right.
But
It might be terrible care, and it's not where you would rather catch it much earlier, right, with a doctor and be like, hey, you have a propensity for kidney stones, rather
it's
than like
costing us
later you
3 to
die.
3 to 5,
But it
10
costs
times more.
3 to 5, 10 times as much to treat people in trauma centers as to have them go through the normal process of health care. So we have single-payer health care in this country already. You pay for it. Every single person in this country pays for it some way, one way or another, whether it's property taxes in this state or sales taxes in that state. Whatever funds your trauma centers pays for it. So that is, I think, something that when people realize that, they will see the obviousness of the solution. We already have it. Let's just not have the ad hoc version. Let's have the architected version.
very well thought out. How can people find out about your campaign?
You can go to Monty2017.com and sign up there for updates. You can call me. I'll give you my personal phone number, 310-924-1796. Call me and ask me about anything about the city, and I'll talk to you about it. And you can also go to montymarkland.com. That's another website of ours. On Facebook, we are Monty 2017, so if you search for that, Monty for Mayor 2017, I believe it is. Monty,
the social networks.
Right here, the social networks right here. You know, I'm just at the age where like I can handle Facebook, but Snapchat is now beyond me. So I'm like,
I'm a little older than you, but I'm kind of with you. Yeah.
there's some colored buttons. I don't know which one to push. You know.
Well, Monty, I thank you for talking to us. I hope
Absolutely.
we do a show called Project Sanity.
Yeah.
I hope you can come on and talk to us.
Oh, that'd be
about
great.
this.
I'd love to.
I've got your phone number now.
That'd be my pleasure. Absolutely.
Very good. Thanks, Monty.
Thank you so much.
And I'm sorry, your last name again?
Monty Markland.
Monty Markland.
Yeah,
That's very-
Markland.
Very, very nice alliteration. Very good. Good luck, Monty. Monty for Mayor. Very good. Monty for Mayor. Things are wrapping up here at the Jill Stein. I'll flip around like this. Over here. Me? Yeah, you. Come over here.
Me?
Yeah, you. Hey, guys. All right, so we are here at the, this is Bernie's, Johnny's. Tonight is Java Jill's. And we've been hearing from Jill Stein all night. She's done 2, basically, sort of town hallish stump speeches, some questions.
Yeah.
Interviewed by TYT. Jimmy Dore was here. Streamed it live. A couple other independent media. No corporate media to speak of at all.
Pasadena, it was like Akaku.
Right.
Pasadena
Community Access.
Community Access Channel was here.
That's right. So that's it on the media, guys. And they literally, they put this together in about, 4 hours. They put it up earlier this afternoon, this event, and they packed the house here with a lot of enthusiastic people. A lot of Bernie delegates came down here. Some drove for hours to come down here and see Dr. Stein. We heard from the native, the original Americans, talking about North Dakota. Turns out I heard from Mel. Insider scoop, Dr. Stein will be in North Dakota next week, Tuesday, and we're going to try to hook up with out there and get that covered for sure. We're going to be talking tomorrow night on Project Sanity. Eric has a friend who is there, and he's going to report from the protest.
Wonderful.
So that's cool, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, you're watching OurRevolution.tv. My name is DC, Dave Conan here. This is Chella. And we're stalking Stein. We found her here in Los Angeles at Java Jill's, and she's now getting photographs with folks. I don't know. I didn't get a photograph with Jill.
I took a picture.
Did you with me? Okay, good. That's good enough. Me in action. Thanks for watching. Join me tomorrow night on Project Sanity, 4 o'clock Pacific time. I think I'm running the back end. But we'll talk about this and what she said about possibly participating in an open debate. See you guys. Peace.